Alright, hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I am going to create a week calendar view from scratch, and the reason why I am gonna do that is because recently I needed like a nice way of showing a week in my app, and I found this library, and I managed to pull out a week calendar here, even though it's not documented. But later it turned out there were some issues where I would change the date of the week calendar, but it won't update, and this seems to be a stale issue that's not going to be fixed. So instead I'm just going to create my own, since it's actually quite simple, I would say. I don't really need too much functionality. A lot of these functionality that is exposed in this library is not really needed for me, so I might as well just spend those 15 minutes and implement it myself. And in this video I'm going to show you how I managed to implement it. Alright, okay, so currently I have a fresh app, and yeah, I'm just going to clear this out and have a clean app here, and I'm gonna wrap my app in a safe area view here. I'm gonna be passing in flex1 here, but before I do that, I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit here so we can actually see things a little more clear. And now I'm gonna be creating my style sheet. So since we are creating this component from scratch, we're also gonna be making all the styles ourselves, and there is quite a few styles. So I'm just gonna go ahead and create this style sheet early on, and then make sure I have all my styles in here. So even the flex1, I'm gonna put it in here. Okay, now onto the component. So in my component I want to show the days of the week, right? So I first of all need a view, and this view is gonna be a container, like the container of my different days that I want to show. And one thing I know about this container is I want it to be flex direction row, since I want to have all my days showing up in a row. So I'm gonna go ahead and define that one like this, and yeah, so far so good. Now the next part is we want to get all the days of the week, right? And in order to get all the days of the current week, we need to know what day is it now, or what week are we on. So we don't necessarily want today's date, but we want some date that you can pass in as a prop, for example. So let's go up here and define our props. One is going to be date, and that's actually going to be the important one here, right? So I'm going to pass this one in here, and I'm just going to expose it right away here. Now, alright, yeah, that's okay, that's okay. I'm actually in app.tsx right now. I want to be in another component. So let me just create a file here and call it week calendar tsx. Jump in here, copy this in here, copy my styles in here, and I also want to copy my prop here, and then actually remove it here. Okay, go back here, copy it here. Alright, let's see, props. Okay, and then the date here. Okay, a lot better. And then go back here and then just render out our week calendar here, because then we can actually pass in the props from here, and that's gonna be a little more neat. Remove styles we don't need. Go back here, import this style sheet, and okay, good to go, except for the fact we need to import view as well. Alright, now what I'm gonna do here is when the date is passed in from outside, I'm gonna do a calculation inside a use effect here, and I'm just gonna set the days of the week in a use state hook. So for this I can create a new use state here. I'm just gonna call it week, and I'm gonna also import this one, and I'm just gonna initially set it to an empty array. Okay, so in here inside my use effect I can start calculating the weekdays. And if you watched my previous video, you might have seen me already implement this method, but if not, I'm just gonna copy paste it in here and explain how it is. It's pretty simple, so it should be okay. So if I go down here, I'm gonna copy paste in this function, and you can see I'm getting an error right away, and that is because I'm using a few helper functions in here that makes calculating the weekdays pretty easy. And I'm just gonna pull in this library to calculate this, and the library is called datefns. So in the console I'm just gonna say yarn add datefns. If I'm using npm, I'm just gonna do npm install datefns. Okay, after I've done that, I can start importing these small pieces. And I even think there's an import all function here. Let's see, import all. Okay, maybe not. Let's just import them one by one here. Okay, now I imported all these. I'm just gonna remove this type here. So you can see up here I have all these helper functions: add days, format, get date, and start the week. So let me just quickly explain what this function does. So we pass in a date, right? And then we can call start of week of this date to figure out what is actually the start date of this week. And here I'm passing in an additional parameter here. So usually for all of these helper functions, you have a second parameter where you can pass in some stuff like locale, as you can see here, and even week starts on. So here I'm just indicating that the week starts on Monday, so I'm passing in 1. And then yeah, moving on, we have an empty array here called final, and here I'm just doing a very basic for loop where I for each value of I, I'm gonna add an amount of day to our start value, which is gonna be Monday. So when I run through this one the first time, I'm gonna add 0, so I'm gonna be pushing Monday here to my final array, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on and so forth. And then here I'm just adding in an object where I'm first formatting it, and then I just have the original date object, and then the day where I'm calling get date. So here I'm getting the day of the week. Okay, all these will be useful for us later on. Okay, jumping back up here, I'm calling this function now, get weekdays, and I'm just gonna pass in the date that I'm getting from outside up here. So now I have the weekdays, and I can just set week to weekdays. And here it's important that I am passing in the date here inside this dependency array, because in case our date changes, that was kind of my problem with the other library, then we will render out yeah, a new set of weekdays, right? Okay, awesome. Now we have the week now, so now we can actually start rendering something that makes sense. So in here I'm going to call a map on my week, and in here I'm gonna be passing in, I'm just gonna do a return right away just to render something. And here I want to render a view, and inside this view I'm gonna put something here and just put a text element for now. And this text element I want to put in date.formatted. So here you can see I'm not getting any autocomplete, and that's because I haven't been defining the type so far for some of the stuff I did, so I'm going to be doing that in a moment. So let's go up here and also pass in a key, weekday. That format should also be unique in this case. Now let's add some typings to this stuff. So you can see down here that I have a formatted and a date and a day. So I need to define a type for this. So I'm gonna call this one weekday, and formatted just gonna be a string, right? And date is gonna be the original date object, and day is gonna be the day of the week. So that's gonna be a number actually. So in here now I can put in that I'm gonna be returning an array of weekdays. Okay. So if I jump up here, I still get a never, so it still doesn't know what's going on. But if I pass in my type here in my use state, maybe I can infer the value now. Yes, I can. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now let's see here. Okay, so here it needs to change this one to weekday. Awesome. Now you might have noticed that we are not rendering anything yet, so let's actually jump back to app tsx here, and let's just define a date, and I'm just going to say date equals to today, right? And then here we can pass that in, and that should hopefully render something, but right now we're actually not seeing anything here, so I'm a little bit curious what's going on. Let's see if we can render some text here. Alright, so it seems like it's not rendering anything. I'm just going to try to do a manual reload. Let's add this week calendar. Alright, kind of tough, guys. I had to switch over to the Android emulator because there are some problems with my iOS simulator these days. If I'm not running on the device, it's not working. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Anyway, small detail. Let's get back to the code here. So yeah, I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday up here. That is perfect. Now the rest of this video, or the majority of this rest of this video is styling, like making this look nice, because right now it looks pretty awful. So yeah, let's get into some of the styling. So the first thing I really want to style is gonna be this text, and I'm gonna be creating that style here. So I'm gonna call it weekday text, and I think I just want to change the color, make it gray for now. Okay. Now this container, I also need to do a little more stuff up here. So I'm just gonna use the justify content space around, just to make sure everything is like separated equally. And yeah, then I'm gonna make a little bit of padding here, and I'm just gonna put in 10. Okay, that's looking already better. Now up here I am gonna be creating a variable called text styles, and it's gonna be an array, and here I'm gonna reference styles dot weekday text, or actually never mind that, we're just gonna apply the styles directly here. So let's do styles weekday text. Okay, so now we get that more grayish style. Alright, cool. Now we have the day of the week. Now we need to display the actual day of the week number. For that, I'm going to create a touchable opacity here, and inside here I'm going to put some text, and the text this time is going to be the weekday dot not weekday, oh it is weekday, yeah, this time it's going to be the day that I want to show down here. Okay, now for this one, since I want to have different styling depending on whether this current day is selected or not, I'm going to be creating a variable up here, and I'm going to call it text styles, and I'm going to be passing that one here, text styles. Okay, now let's figure out how this text should be styled, shall we? So let's jump down here and then define the style here for the label. So the label should be let's just say font size 14. We want to make it black, and then we want to make sure that it's aligned to the center. Okay, this is our basic style. Now if this is a selected label, I want to make the color white instead. Okay, so up here I can do styles.label. Okay, now we can see it moved to the middle, and here I can do a check to figure out if we are on the selected date, right? And what is the logic for that? Well, let's just jump up here and then define a new variable called same day, and here we're going to use another helper method from data-finesse where called is same day, and here I can just pass in the weekday.date and then the date coming in from the outside as a prop here. And now I can just do a check here saying, is it the same day? If it is, well, on text styles I want to push on the selected label style there, which should make it white, right? And yeah, there you go, it's white, it's gone, can't see it anymore. And that's pretty nifty. If we also are going to define some styling for this touchable opacity here, so similar style, I'm going to create an empty array, and then I'm going to reference touchable, some styles down here. So let's start a new entry, call it touchable, and then some styles here. So first of all, I want border radius 20 because I want to do some make a circle, and then some padding, 7.5 height and width. I'm also going to do height and width here, and the reason why I'm doing that is because when you're using border radius and you're gonna be and you also want to have some background color, you get a more solid result by providing these values instead of only padding. Okay, now as with label, I want to create a selected touchable here, and I want to create just a background color, and I'm just going to do lime if that works for now. So up here with my touchable opacity, I'm going to pass in touchable. Okay, now stuff moved around a little bit, and the stuff is not aligned anymore, but we'll fix that soon. So up here in the same day, I'm going to do this where it says touchable, push styles, selected touchable here. Alright, so now we're getting this green here. This green is not great actually. Let's just do normal green. Yeah, this is a little better. Okay, Not bad, not bad. We still have some center, like everything is not really aligned correctly here, but otherwise it's looking not bad. Let's try to align stuff more. So if we go to this view here and then apply a little bit of styling here, right? This is for each item in my here. So let's do styles dot, let's just say this is just a weekday item, perhaps. Go down here, weekday item, and here I'm just gonna do justify content center. Oh, I spelled wrong. And then align item center. And that looking a lot better. The first property didn't do too much, so I'm just gonna get rid of that one. Okay, cool. Looking good. Now I want to create a little bit of spacing here on the weekday text up here. I think it's a little too cramped, so I'm just gonna put 5 there. Now this is better. I like it. Yeah, let's try to change the date in here. So right now we just have today's date. What if I was to change this date around? So let's try to add some days here. So add days to today. Let's add 12 days. Okay, now it's the 14th. That's looking pretty well. Okay, yeah, so that's working pretty well, you could say. We're definitely this is definitely updating, so our get weekdays function is working. Now one more thing I want to do is and that is to add another prop here, and I'm just gonna be an unchanged prop. And what I want to do here is I want to be able to change another day. So down here we might have some content that we're showing, and depending on what day of the week you select here, we want to show the appropriate content for that day. So now, since I added this onChange prop, we can pass that onChange prop to my touchable opacity here. So here I can pass onPress and then call onChange here. And I need to make sure that I am passing in a parameter here. In my case, I'm going to be passing in, let me see, it's going to be weekday, and then probably I want to be passing in just the date object. Okay. Now out here I can then create creating a button here. It says change date. Change. Oh no, this is actually correct, just like this. And instead of just making this a variable, I'm going to turn it into some state now, state variable. And I'm going to use state here. Make sure I'm importing that one. Oh. And I'm going to set it to today's date, like this. Okay. Now on change here, I can pass this one in, and then I can do set date, and then whatever value I get here, it's going to be the new day, right? I can just pass it in here, right? Now when I'm clicking around, I don't know why I made this button actually, it's a little weird, but we definitely need the state variable here. So now whenever I'm clicking around, I am changing the date. And if I programmatically, that's the word, would change this variable, it will of course update the weekdays. And that was kind of the main problem I had with this other library. There was like a bug in the system that prevented the component from updating. Alright, I think this is it, guys. This is pretty much my week view here. It doesn't look too bad, I would say, and it's working just as I would expect it. Okay, Hope this was useful for you, and if it was, leave a like, and if not, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.